You know, it is absolutely wild how our brains work. Think about it. We will literally spend 3 days obsessing over reviews to figure out which $40 blender to buy. But when it comes to the one single thing that is guaranteed to happen to all of us, our own mortality and protecting our families, suddenly we just find a million other things to do, right? Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're covering term versus whole life insurance, what you actually need to know.
So why do we do this? Why do we delay? Well, it's actually a biological habit. Our brains are literally hardwired to avoid uncomfortable thoughts. When you take the existential dread of thinking about passing away and you combine it with this massive, intimidating wall of confusing financial jargon, it perfectly triggers that emotional, "I'll do it later" response. We just put it in a mental box, slide it onto a shelf, and tell ourselves we'll get to it next year.
Okay, let's dive into this. Overcoming this specific avoidance is absolutely crucial because waiting, it has a very real cost. You see, you really don't want to wait until something happens, like your health situation unexpectedly changing. Life insurance relies entirely on your current health. So by understanding the basics right now, today, we can completely bypass that overwhelm and get your loved ones protected.
All right, Section 1, the foundation of life insurance. Look, if we strip away all the jargon, at its core, life insurance is just a contract. It's a deal between you and an insurance company. And the very first fundamental term of that contract is the premium. This is simply the monthly or annual payment you agree to pay them. Think of it as the cost of keeping the contract alive. As long as you pay this premium, the insurance company agrees to uphold their end of the bargain.
And here is their end of the bargain, the death benefit. This is the set, guaranteed sum of money paid out if you pass away while the policy is still active. The people who receive this financial cushion, which is usually your spouse or your kids, are called your beneficiaries. The entire point of this benefit, the whole reason we do this, is income replacement. It ensures that if your paycheck suddenly disappears, your family's financial stability doesn't just disappear with it.
Let's move to Section 2, term versus permanent life insurance, and see how this builds.
So once you understand that basic contract, you have to decide which type actually makes sense for your life. It really boils down to two main camps. On one side, we have term life insurance. It's temporary, it covers you for a fixed period, and it is generally much cheaper. On the other side, we have permanent life insurance, which includes stuff like whole life and universal life. Now this lasts your entire lifetime, it introduces a cash value component, and, as you might guess, it is significantly more expensive. Let's break these down a bit more. Term life insurance is, honestly, beautiful in its simplicity. It covers you for a very specific period, that's the term, usually 10, 20, or 30 years. The premiums generally don't change, meaning you lock in a fixed, guaranteed rate on day one. If you pass away during the term, it pays out. If you outlive the term, the policy just simply expires. It is pure, straightforward insurance with no complicated structures, which makes it incredibly popular and highly affordable for most folks.
Whole life insurance, however, introduces a whole new layer of complexity. It guarantees coverage for your entire life, as long as you keep paying those premiums. But here is the major differentiator. It comes with a cash value savings component. The insurance company actually takes a portion of your premium and slides it into this cash value bucket, which grows at a steady, but pretty modest, average annual rate of about 1 to 3.5%.
Which brings us nicely to Section 3, unpacking the cash value.
I'll be honest, this cash value is easily the most confusing part of permanent life insurance. People very often mistake it for some sort of high-return investment, like a stock portfolio, but it's really not. To grasp how this works, let's look at exactly where your money goes when you pay that premium. It gets divided into 3 distinct buckets. First, the actual cost of the insurance coverage. Second, administrative fees. And then finally, whatever little bit is left over spills into that third bucket, the cash value. Think of it exactly like a mortgage. This is a great analogy. In the early years of paying a mortgage, your payments mostly go toward the interest, right? Not the principal? Well, with whole life insurance, your early payments heavily fund the insurance cost and the administrative fees. Because of this heavily front-loaded structure, it typically takes a solid 10 to 15 years for that cash value to significantly build up relative to the money you've actually paid in. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is what happens to that cash value in the end. It's a bit of a shocker for some. If you cancel the policy while you are still alive, you get the surrender value, which is the cash value minus some fees. But if you pass away, your beneficiaries only receive the death benefit. The cash value is absolutely not paid out on top of the death benefit, it is entirely absorbed by the insurance company. This is a crucial mechanic that so many people simply do not realize.
Moving on to Section 4, calculating your coverage needs. Time to do a little math.
Now that we actually know how these policies work under the hood, let's remove all the guesswork. How much coverage do you actually need? Well, the easiest starting point is the 10x rule. You just take your annual income and multiply it by 10. Simple. So if you're making $75,000 a year, you'd be looking at a $750,000 life insurance policy. It's a fantastic baseline. But your personal debt, your specific mortgage, and the size of your family might require you to be just a little bit more precise.
For a more tailored, accurate calculation, we use the incredibly approachable DIME method, D-I-M-E. Let's walk through it. First, D is for debt. Add up all your non-mortgage debt, like credit cards or car loans. Next, I is for income. Calculate how many years of your salary you want to completely replace for your family. M is for mortgage. Factor in your remaining balance so your family never has to worry about losing the house. And finally, E is for education.
And to help you calculate that E for education step, just look at this number, $38,270. That is the current average annual cost of college per student in the US. So to put that into perspective, if you have one child and you want to cover a full 4-year degree, you need to factor an additional $160,000 into your life insurance calculation. When you add up your debt, income, mortgage, and education, boom, you have your exact personalized target coverage number.
Almost done here. Section 5, choosing the right policy. Armed with your specific coverage number, it really comes down to choosing the policy that makes sense for your unique financial situation and dependents. Let's look at whole life impartially for a second. It definitely offers clear advantages. Once you're approved, you never ever have to requalify medically later in life. You get guaranteed lifetime coverage, and you have that cash value to potentially borrow against if needed. Because of all this, it's often an ideal fit for high net worth individuals who have very specific long-term estate planning needs.
So the crucial point is, what about everyone else? Well, term life brings absolutely incredible advantages for the average person protecting their family during their working years. It is highly practical and incredibly straightforward. It allows you to get a massive amount of coverage for a very, very low monthly cost. And importantly, because it's so much cheaper than whole life, it leaves you with extra money in your budget every month to separately invest the difference however you choose.
And honestly, the best part about all of this today, the barrier to entry has practically vanished. Modern providers like Ethos, which was mentioned in our sources, have streamlined this entire process so much that getting a quote and applying can literally take as little as 10 minutes online. In many cases, they don't even require a medical exam anymore. It completely eliminates the friction that usually causes us to put this off.
Which brings us right back to where we started. We avoid this topic because, let's face it, it's uncomfortable. But putting it back on that mental shelf means taking a massive gamble. As the source material bluntly reminds us, you don't want to wait until something happens like your health situation changing. Because knowledge without action is just trivia. If your health suddenly shifted tomorrow, would you look back and wish you had spent just 10 minutes today to secure your family's entire financial future?